Well, everyone is interested right now in what is going on in the real estate market. Well, I have numbers that were just released by Florida Realtors and the National Association of Realtors, along with economic information to help you better understand what's really occurring. Well, everyone wants to say the sky is falling, but is it really? I mean, there are some prices that are falling and you will be surprised to know what they really are. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you an overview of the economics of our real estate market here in Florida, provide you the current housing market numbers, and give you a forecast for the coming months. So let's get started. Well, as of August 2022, we are really in a recession. Some want to give it a different definition, but we know that the definition of a recession is 2 quarters where the GDP is falling. And economists all agree that is the definition of a recession. So how does this affect the housing market? So let's talk about that for a minute. What we know is different about this recession is we have a lot of jobs out there that are not being filled, and especially in the construction area of the market, we need construction workers, and I'm going to speak about that in just a moment. So let's talk about Florida. Our economy is doing very well. We have the largest influx of people moving here. That is bringing more money to the state of Florida. And in fact, we have 24% of the people that are moving around the country moving to Florida. And according to Realtor.com, we are the number 3 state in the U.S. for the most stable housing market. Now, let's talk about the local housing numbers here on the Treasure Coast, which includes Martin County, Stuart, Jensen Beach, Palm City, Hutchinson Island, and many more. Our closed sales have continued to drop by about 20%. I'm talking about the amount of homes that have sold. And you would think that that would affect the sold or contract price on a home, but it's not. The price adjustments are actually being made from the listed price to what the home actually sells for. So at this point, you are most likely seeing drops in listing prices versus the exuberant prices that sellers were placing on their homes and hoping not only would they get that, but there would be multiple offers and that they would gain more. You're going to hear on the news, because I heard it this morning and couldn't believe it, when someone who I really respect out there is saying that housing prices have dropped 20%. Oh my gosh, I was shocked because I just saw all of the housing numbers and that is not true. Our sales are down 20%, but there's a lot of reasons why that's not happening. And I just told you that listed prices are dropping, but not the sold price so far. So the median price continues to grow, and that's actually up 20% from the same time last year. Inventory is increasing by about 50%, and this equates to about 1.7 months, which is still inadequate for the amount of housing supply we need. A normal market will be about 4 to 6 months, so we have a ways to go before that builds up and puts us back to pre-pandemic inventory. So for buyers, this is okay news. Maybe not the news they want, because if you're hearing out there on the broadcast channels where they're not out on the street selling it and they're not looking at our market numbers, that the sky is falling, but it's really not. It's making a correction of what sellers list their home for versus what it sells for. Now, if inventory continues to rise and we don't have as many sales, we actually could be up to that level by possibly the end of the year. We probably are not going to see the sold prices really dropping, just like we're not seeing that in anything else that's out there. Have you gone to the grocery store lately or out to eat? Have any of those prices come down? And we won't even get into gas prices because we know that the reason why that's sort of changing right now, but everything is going up, absolutely everything in price. And home prices are also staying stable, along with increasing, even though we might see that change a little bit more towards the end of the year. So the demand of homes is falling, but not because people don't want homes. The demand of homes is falling because many can no longer afford it because of the interest rates. Now, even though our current rate of about 5.5% is still a pretty good interest rate, you know, the 3% or 3.5%, those were not really realistic interest rates. It was just great rate at the time and those that were able to purchase then, but 5.5% is not bad. However, this is what happens. So a buyer who wanted to buy a home last year when the rates were at 2.98% and now want to buy a home and the rates are 5.5%, that basically changes their monthly payment by about $400 a month. So with the increased price of homes and what's happening with the interest rates, and of course the insurance here in Florida is expensive, it's really outpricing a lot of people in the market. There is a lot of pent-up demand, but if you can't get a loan because of what it's going to cost you, you can't buy that house. And what's really a shame is that rental rates have skyrocketed beyond what most can afford. And if you look at what the price of a home is, even with the increase of the interest rate, it's actually going to probably be less money or the same for them to own a home, but they can't seem to come up with what that down payment would be. Now let's talk a little bit about new construction. I had mentioned before we have a shortage of workers, which is true, and that's costing more when you hire them, which adds to the cost of that. But not only that, do you know that the construction cost of material is rising twice as fast as the consumer inflation? It is at 18%. Now you know why those new home sales have gotten even more expensive, and a resale is really the better way to go if you can find them. Not only that, but in my area where we have a lot of multifamily townhouses going up, many of the builders are offering incentives because now they have all this inventory coming up, which we didn't have any in the past, and everything was a lottery, and many can't qualify for them because not only would it be expensive for them to purchase at the current price with a more expensive mortgage payment monthly, but then they have homeowner association dues and the taxes have gone up, and it really makes it where they can't do that monthly payment. So here's the reality when you're working in real estate every day. Other than don't listen to the news sources that are telling you about housing prices falling 20%. You need to ask yourself when you hear that, is that listed price or is that the actual sold price? So that's the first thing. Sold prices are remaining strong, which means what I just said, that many are priced out of the market. Some of the listing prices are coming down for the reasons I just mentioned. So the good news is for you buyers out there that you're going to have more homes with the increase of inventory, even though it's a small increase of about 1.7 months, and it will keep rising, but you will have more to choose from. So gone, hopefully for all of us, are the days that you had 1 or 2 homes to see and you had to write the offer right there in the driveway. Now you can actually go see maybe 3 or 4 homes, sleep on it overnight, and choose the one you like and make an offer. And hopefully we're not seeing as many multi-offers. So instead of having 15 or 20 offers on a home, you may only be competing with a couple other offers, and maybe you won't even be competing at all. So for buyers, the market's starting to get better. Not great yet, but it's getting better. This change is also good for sellers. Yes, maybe they're not getting the crazy numbers, but they're still getting extremely high numbers for what they bought their home for. But here's the key for sellers. So many times sellers didn't want to put their homes on the market because they didn't know where they were going to go. Well, now the sellers are actually having a little bit of a relief that they can place their home for sale and most likely be able to find a home that they want to purchase during the time it takes to close on their home. So it's really a win-win for both sellers and buyers. We are going to see homes staying on the market a little bit longer for the reasons I just mentioned, and that's actually a good thing. It's just sort of a shift and a change from what we were used to. And even as a realtor, I find this to be much more pleasant than the frantic buying and selling of real estate, because everyone needs to have an opportunity to stop and think before making the biggest purchase of their life. Now, in addition to many of those who are renting and want to find homes and they just don't have the down payment, And in Florida, we have some very interesting programs for some of our first responders to be able to purchase, but it's tough. It's really tough, and the pricing of the market is really not helping anything affordable. But also, the luxury market is taking a hit also, and that's because many people do not want to take anything out of the market with where it's standing. So again, the luxury market is having its downturn a little bit on the purchasing, and some of those luxury buyers need to finance also, and it makes a big difference with a big jumbo loan when you increase the interest rate by a couple percent. So if you are a seller, the smartest thing I can tell you is price your home correctly. Price it as to what they are selling for, because most likely then you're going to sell it and it won't be on the market as long. And buyers now, you can take a breath and look at those homes and have an opportunity to maybe choose something a little more than what you had before. And then there's always going to be a seller that has to sell for some reason, and maybe you might get a better deal. But the chances that the sky is falling and that you're going to get this extremely good deal and you're going to wait, the prices come down a lot. Probably in the sunshine state of Florida, it's not going to happen because we have so much demand of people still moving here. Now, one other thing you will hear, that we're not getting as many of those, that the influx from the pandemic, which is probably true, but we're still getting enough that they're taking up the slack of our home buying market. Well, I will have more real estate news for you on this channel every Tuesday. So please hit subscribe so that you can get my videos when they're just released. If you have any questions, please comment below. I would be happy to get back to you. And in the meantime, let's go watch this video, which can also give you some great information. So until next time, see you later.